G'day viewers, welcome to another super helpful, super cool repair video from the Goat Shed. So today is Monday 19th of February 2024 and it's looking very overcast outside. It's only about 21 degrees Celsius. So Saturday morning just gone by, we were presented with this Gottlieb Surfer from 1976, and oh boy, don't we see a lot of these type of games. Obviously, like in the USA, surfing is extremely popular here, so there was a lot of them brought out. Now this particular game apparently we looked at maybe 7-8 years ago. We barely remember it, but apparently we did, so it's a long time since we've seen it. So it's been brought in, and the owner tells us that it blew the 25 volt fuse. Now instantly that tells us that more than likely there's a coil burnt out in this game, and it's a matter of finding out where, when and why. So what we've done, we've put a fuse strip in the 25 volt circuit because he was right, the fuse is blown, and we'll just turn the game on and see what happens. Well, the good news is we've got lights. It was in the middle of the game. We've got tilt, ball 2, 6010 on the score reel. Let's press the start button and see what happens. I'm pressing that start button and I've got absolutely no response. Now, like I said, we know the coil, we know the fuse has been replaced, indicating a coil is probably burnt out. But why at least aren't we getting the game to start? Let's have a little look at that and see why. So even though we have that fuse in and we have back box lights, we still don't have any power to the score motor. That score motor should operate. Now, let's have a look and see why it's not operating. One of the first things I like to do is have a look at the slam switches. Now I've just inspected the one on the front door and it's okay. When I came to have a look at this one, it didn't seem quite right. It was slightly bent apart. So now we have a score motor running, which is good. So that now means that we should be able to do a reset. Yes, let's try. Okay, there's that player 1 score reel. Now that 10 point hasn't reset. We're going to have a look. Now here's the 10 point reel here. Notice something strange about that? There's a cable tie here with an incorrect coil in place. Well, it looks like it's been in there a while, so maybe there's something wrong with that particular coil. Let's have a look. There certainly is, that coil's burnt out, and we can't even operate the score reel manually. It's jammed. So there's a lot of heat being generated there. So first job we've got to do now is pull that out and replace it with the correct one, and then investigate what may have caused it to lock in and jam up. Now, often we see sometimes the spinner, and I think we had a very quick look at the spinner. It may be the problem. Let's have a little look. It's very hard to get a shot in there, but it doesn't look too good, so we'll investigate. So first task is to replace that coil. Just another thing we've noticed, have a look, there's a bar running straight across underneath the playfield. I've never seen that before.
And as you'd know, it's the bar that goes underneath the top arch. One of them bars.
Yeah, very strange. Maybe the playfield was warped, who knows? Anyway, we'll have a look. What we'll do, we'll keep that fuse holder, we'll keep that fuse trip in place till we put this back together and then find out what's going on. So, like I said, the incorrect coil that's in there, that would be an A9154. That's the earlier style of squirrel reel coil. They generally measure out around about 6.2, 6.3 ohms, something like that. So the correct coil should be a A15259. Now they measure out at about 7 ohms, 7.5 ohms. So there is a bit of a difference there. So someone's just put that in where it worked. It would have been a bit snappier, I'd imagine, but we'll have to replace that, and more likely the plunger won't be recoverable. So let's get on and do this very basic repair, and we'll then be able to have a look at the game and see what else works or doesn't work. Okay, there's what's left of the coil sleeve. She was pretty heated up. We were able to get the plunger out and just would put that on the vise and just tap it off, and away it went. Alright, let's turn the machine back on now and see what happens. Hopefully we should reset. Alright, let's give it a go. Wonderful. Alright, now we'll go over a few things and see if we can find out what was causing it. We did suspect the spinner. Let's operate that spinner. Doesn't seem to be the problem. Let's operate the bottom slingshot. So we've got here. No, that's okay. Oh, there it is. That switch there. It's this switch here. Way too close. I barely got to touch that. I mean, let's have a look behind the top charges. It's definitely not that switch either. So it's that switch up there is probably causing us some grief. Now, another thing that you might notice, if you listen, hear those chimes? They're barely working. There's something not right there. So we're going to have a look at the chime unit. But yeah, thump. Let's have a look at that and see what's going on. So we're just going to go over this now and check all the features and functions and see what else has to be done. But we definitely have to do that switch. So there's the problem there. That switch is basically almost touching now. They didn't tell us this, but they've obviously re-rubbered it again with these, I don't know, whatever they are, super bands maybe, or goodness knows. It's just way too close. So let's adjust that. So there we are, that's adjusted a lot better now. Get a bit of focus there. Excellent. Next thing we're going to do is we've got a really noisy score motor. Okay, so we've taken the motor out of its cradle. Now, for those of you that don't know how to do that, you're going to have to go and look at a video we made probably 2 years ago. What we're going to do is we're going to get the oil in there and we're going to pump it into that till it doesn't come out till it keeps coming out or it overflows.
Just give it a minute to soak in.
Got a rag there to clean that. Alright, now we've pumped a fair bit of oil into that. We'll just leave that up to soak in for a moment. And just while we were looking around, we noticed that the pop bumpers, both end of stroke switches,
this and the long leaf,
are broken. There's the other one. Bit hard to get into that one, but trust me, it's broken. So we'll change those as well while we're on the job here. Well, it's like a little tune-up. As I said, we had this machine in some years ago, and it seems to be working okay. We've still got to have a look at the chimes. Let's have a look. Just another visual inspection there, we've discovered that this fuse here is a slow blow. So that's 10 amp. We're going to change that for a proper 10 amp fuse. So here's the chime unit removed from Surfer. See what the problem is? We've got the rubber's worn out, the plungers were sticking in it. That was the middle one we're having most trouble with, that's straight through. So what we're going to do now, we're going to remove that. We've had a little bit of a look at the plungers themselves. They've got some funny, I don't know if you can work that out, but that's not, should be a plastic. I think we might change those. We've got those in stock. I mean, unfortunately they're not cheap, but it's going to sound really weird. So we'll have a look at changing those as well. Alright, preparation is important, so we've cleaned all the old gum off the back of the old ones. Used a little bit of light emery and the Dremel to clean all that up. Coils look in good shape, but what we also should do while we've got them here is test them. Let's do that. Alright, so we clip one lead onto the common wire and we'll take the other end of the meter and clip it on to the other side, and we should be looking around about 12 ohms for these particular coils. Okay, 12.1, that's okay, we're happy with that. I mean, they all look okay, but I mean, why not test everything when you've got it out? 11.9, can't get much closer than this. And this one here. It's 12. Beautiful. Okay, we've found some new plungers with the plastic tip on them. And let's put this all back together now. There's a nice new piece fitted in there. Now we'll just reassemble it. Oh, by the way, the coils that go in this are A5195, in case anyone's wondering. 5195, there they are there.
They're not a common.
Alright, we've completed repairs to that chime box. Now, simply by putting in the new plungers and the strip at the bottom for the plungers to rest on, it's made a world of difference. So before you could barely hear the 10-point chime. There it is, working fine. There's the 100-point chime, and there it is in models of 500. Now we've got a 7,000 bonus, I think it is there. And you can hear the chimes are going quite well. Now I had to adjust the slingshots switches under the playfield and also the switches under the plastics. Bear in mind the switches under here don't score points, they only fire the kicker. A lot of people think that they do score the points. The scoring switch is underneath, so when the kicker fires, the spring pulls it in, the solenoid coil pulls it in, it lifts up and it touches the switch. Well, the switch on the right hand side might as well not even been there, it wasn't quite touching. Now I think we've still got to do the end of stroke switches on this, which we pointed out earlier on. What we're also going to have to do is probably do a little bit of work on the lamps up the top on player 1. A couple of them, 3 in the middle are out, and it looks like it's got a bad common on the lamps to the frame, so we'll probably fix that up. Now this machine is a classic example where an owner has replaced the rubbers. We haven't asked the owner yet, but we're 99% positive that the rubbers were changed on this. They are very new, these blue rubbers. As you can see, they're blue, and it caused a problem up the top there with that switch. And also we found this switch was a little bit touchy as well. But that's okay, it's just a lesson learned. If you change the rubbers, you're changing some of the, you're altering this, I don't know what the word is, the new rubber goes on and they're much stronger, so they're going to pull tighter and alter the relationship of the rubber to the switch. That's probably the best way to put it. So be very, very mindful, people, when you change your rubber rings on your machine, to always look at the switches and make sure that they're not going to touch, because that will cause you a coil lock on if you don't notice it, like this game had, and bang, you've got some problems. Now, just another thing while we've got this game here, being from 1976, Gottlieb changed things a little bit the way the startup procedure occurred. So this applies to like Spiritus 76, Cardwiz, Royal Flush Surfer, Surf Champ, and a few others. But what it is, if you have a look at these two relays here, one there and one there, the first one closest is the Q and the second one is the U. Now you watch. Did you see them pull in? They pulled in. Let me release them, give the power back, and they pull in. Quite often, sorry about that, I'm trying to hold the gimbal and everything steady. Quite often with those particular relays, they're on all the time pretty much. As soon as you turn the game on, they come on till you start a game. So if we were to start a game, which we'll do now, once the AX relay pulls in, that's the spinner. I'm just going to turn the game off again for a second because I haven't put anything in there to block the spinner. Once the AX relay pulls in, it releases those for the entire game till game over. Now, that's all well and good, but those coils do burn out. So if you can't get your machine beyond startup, sorry, if it just displays tilt, there's generally a couple of reasons for that, and that's probably one of the most common reasons. I'll use that word if I may. Now, what we do. So one little useful tool that we use here, and I'm not sure if we've ever showed you this before, is a 6 to 24 volt tester. This is a Klein product from the good old USA. Now, what we can do, if we want to see if there's power going somewhere, you can use a light. You can also use this for testing circuits. So what you do, I just clip it onto the common side of the motor. Now, let's just say we want to test this slam switch down there. Let's power on the game. Now, this is a long metal rod. What I've done, I'll put a bit of heat shrink over it just to give me the point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that on the lug here, and it should light up like that, and it does. Now, you can do the same for a relay. So we've got power going to, well, we want to see if we've got power going to the other relays just connected onto the power side. Let's see, I'll have to get round here to do that for you. And there you go, you get the same results. You put it on the power side, not the common. The common's the black. I'll just lift that off there. Okay, so that's a useful little tool for testing. I could do it use this in a lot of circumstances. Just remember that the bulb in this is limited to 25 volts. So some Bally and Williams games have 50 volt coils, so you'll blow the lamp. But it's just an automotive festoon lamp inside of it. I've actually replaced it. I actually did that. I put it on a Williams game, not thinking. Alright, well, once we change the end of stroke switches and the pop bumpers, I think we'll have a look at what's going on with the lamp array in player 1 And that'll about do us with this game. Alright, so we've soldered to ground all the lamps there in the array. There's dobs of solder. Oh gee, I don't know if I can get in there and show you. It's a bit difficult on the other side of each one of those. That's what we generally do. Now they all light up. Wasn't a light before. The player 2's okay. Obviously not a light at the moment, but it was alright. Just point something out to you when you've got the multiplayer games tilted back like that also. It's worth noting. Always make sure before swinging it down that the player unit, we recommend that you advance it so that it's like in the horizontal, like that. On some games the player unit's very low, some 4-player games particularly, and you can actually break that by resting it on there or hitting there too hard. Alright, the only other thing we did, we set the scores to the scorecard. They were set incorrectly. So there's the player 1 lit up from the front of the game. Looks much better when all the lights are on. There's Spanky having a look at the work he's done, just to make sure he's happy with it. He's going to give this game a little bit more testing. It has been fitted with LEDs. There's one, not sure if it's showing up on the video, there's one right at the back there in the hole that's changing colour and all that. Looks horrible. As you know, we're not big fans of LEDs, but it's your game, you put in what you want. But yeah, not for me, thank you. Okay. Well, if you've watched this far, we thank you so very much, and please consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget about our Facebook group, the EM Pinball Repair Specialists. We welcome you to join that group, and that's where we answer most of our technical questions. We try not to answer them in the comments on YouTube because we want everyone to benefit from people's questions and the answers that they receive from all sorts of different people all around the world, which is fabulous. It's a great hobby, this, isn't it? Okay, well, this has been another Goat Shed presentation.